Okay, Baruch Shechayonu v'kimonu v'giyonu lazman hazeh. Baruch Hashem, we are starting the share in Sefer Tanya. Now, I want to give you a bit of an introduction. So today we're going to do an introduction. I want you to understand a few things on a personal level, and then a little bit about the Tanya, so we should understand the Sefer that we're learning and understand what he was trying to accomplish by writing this incredible Sefer. I am so excited about this limud, by the way. I've been wanting to do this for a long time, and the truth is I have been contemplating an idea of a share in Tanya for a long time. But first of all, I didn't feel like who am I to give a share on Tanya, like the Heilige Bala Tanya, and I'm going to give a share on it. But my want and my wish for the Olam to learn Tanya goes way beyond, and wins, so to speak, my belief in myself that I can actually, understand the Tanya. It's a very deep sefer. It's something that I've spoken about for years in yeshiva. We've got the Olam to learn Tanya, Pnimius HaTorah. Because at the end of the day, what gives a person a real connection to Yiddishkeit and to integrate the Torah that he learns into his life can be through Pnimius HaTorah. Tanya is an incredible sefer. It is an absolutely amazing sefer. Apologize if, number one, I'm not going to go through every single word and translate it. This is not an art scroll session. I'm going to try to go through most of it and translate, of course, most of it, but there could be a couple of words here and there that I just don't simply translate, so I apologize for that. Obviously, what we're doing here is a surface level of learning Tanya, just to understand the concept and what he was trying to give over. My hope and my wish is that you enjoy it. I think you will, but also that you go over it yourself afterwards and perhaps even go a bit deeper, which will be incredible as well. Remember, the Tanya is a deep Mussar Sefer. It's not a Hasidic Shavot. You're not going to get nice Geschmack Avots to say at the Shabbos table, but it's something that can absolutely, no question about it, can change your world. Somebody contacted me a couple of days ago. He says to me, I hear you're giving a Tanya share. This is a yid that's a big Baki in Tanya. And he said to me like this, he said, it's a whole different way of looking at life. And that's what it is. It's a completely different way of looking at life. I personally can tell you, for myself, I grew tremendously from Tanya. The days that I learned Tanya, it was incredible. I felt my neshama was connected to it. I felt that it helped me, and it's really, really special. And for years, I've been pushing boys in yeshiva to learn Tanya. One specific boy said to me, the day that I learn Tanya is a totally different day than the day I don't learn Tanya. That's what he said to me. So we're dealing with a sefer that can do incredible things. In fact, I'll tell you, some of the elderly Hasidim would actually refer to the Tanya as the Sefer HaRefuos, the book of medication. Reb Itzik Isaac of Hamel would call the Tanya the Sefer HaMoira. It's the book of guidance. And Reb Hillel of Porich would call it the Sefer HaSgulos, the book of charms. Now, one of the Lubavitcher Rebbes once said that the Sfas Emes, the Ger Rebbe, told him that one word of Tanya lights up and excites the heart. And he added that it actually replenishes a person's thirsty soul, because a mitzvah leads to another mitzvah, which means that learning the Tanya causes a person to learn and daven more better and to be more careful with the mitzvahs that he does. And the Rebbe Rayatz once said that one line of Tanya is not only effective for your ruchnius, but it helps a person physically also. So Rabbi Sai, we're about to embark on an incredible journey, an amazing journey which is going to help us not only in our ruchnius and our avodas Hashem, but also in our gashmius as well. Before we start, who was the Bala Tanya? Who was the Bala Tanya, and what's the name of the sefer? And then we'll go into what we call the Shablat, the title page. So the Bala Tanya of Shnei Zalman of Liadi, the Alter Rebbe, known as the Bala Tanya, was born in the 18th of Elul, 5505, which is September 1745, in a small town in Russia. There are incredible stories about the Bala Tanya. Now is not the time to go through all of them, but just one idea that at a young age, it's so amazing his skills and his master of the Torah. At his bar mitzvah, many of the Gedolim of Russia attended, and they named the Bala Tanya at his bar mitzvah Rav Tana Upolig. That means that he has the status of Gedolim of previous generations and has a right to argue with them. By 18, he knew all of Shas with all of the Mefarshim, but doesn't go only there. He also knew all of science, math, astronomy, and of Kabbalah at that time. So again, we're not here to go through the life of the Baal Tanya, but it is important to know who we're dealing with. Like, what sefer are we learning? We're learning a sefer of a Kodesh Elyon, someone absolutely that we can't even grasp his greatness. But I think it's important to understand before we go and delve into the sefer and his words to understand who he was. Now, he called the name. We call it Tanya. It's not called Tanya. The reason why it got the name of Tanya is because the first word in Perek Aleph of Tanya is Tanya, which we'll discuss why it is so if there's no Gemara that actually starts with the word Tanya. So that's not what the Baal Tanya actually called it. The Baal Tanya actually called it Likutei Emorim. Likutei Emorim means that basically it's a collection of sayings. He almost didn't want to take any credit for himself, which is, by the way, why there's no name on the title page. There's no name, you'll notice, which we'll get to in a moment. He called it Likutei Emorim, a collection of teachings, a collection of sayings, which means these are the things that he selected from different Sforim and his Rebbeim, put them together. In his Anova and his great humility, he didn't want to take credit. So number one, Likutei Emorim is the name of the Sefer. There's another name as well as the Sefer Shel Beinanim. Sefer Shel Beinanim as well means this is the Sefer meant for the Beinani. What's a Beinani? An average guy. It's not a sefer for the tzaddikim, not a sefer for the Rishonim. It's a sefer for the regular, normal, average person. That is the sefer that we're going to be learning, and then we're going to understand how every single one of us can try to fit into that category of being a Beinani. And as I mentioned, Tanya, it's most commonly named as because that's the name of the first word in the first chapter. Now it's interesting, Tanya, by the way, means we learnt in a brisa, which has the same letters as Aleph, Yud, Tov, Nun, which means strength. And many Mefarshim, Gedolim, and Tzaddikim imply that this sefer gives the neshama the strength that it needs to fulfill its mission of serving Hashem in this world. So Rabbi say that is what we're discussing over here. That's what's going on. That's my little introduction to what we're about to do. Now let's start with some of the words. What we're going to do today is we're going to do the Shablat, the title page. And the reason we do that is because it was written by the Baal Tanya. So it was written by the Baal Tanya. There's no reason why we can't learn the words of the Heilige Baal Tanya over here in the Shablat. And he starts like this, and he says, Sefer Likutei Amorim. Right? It's called the Sefer Likutei because it was a likud, as we mentioned, of various things that he heard from others. Okay? Chelik Rishon Hanikra B'Shem Sefer Shel Beinanim. Now you'll notice in your Sefer, right? I think most of you have a Sefer that has 3 parts to it. The Sefer number 1 is called Likutei Amorim. The second Sefer is Shah Yichud Ve'emunah, and then you got Igeres HaKodesh. So the first chelik, which is what we're doing in this series, is the Sefer Likutei Amorim, which is chelik Rishon, Hanikra, which is called the Sefer Shel Beinanim, which means we're going to be discussing, especially in the beginning, the term tzaddik, the term Beinani, and the term Rasha, and we're going to be trying to understand and define what those terms are. We'll explain when we get there. Melukot mipi svarim or mipi soifrim. Collected, put together, gathered from svarim, which means that the Baal Tanya got what he wrote over here from various svarim. One of the 2 main svarim that we have a Kabbalah that the Baal Tanya got it from was number 1, the Maral of Prague, and number 2, the Shla Kodesh. So where it says mipi svarim, it means the Maral of Prague and the Shla Kodesh. If any of you were last year at our trip to Prague, I mentioned last year when we were standing by the Maral of Prague that this is Ilu, the Rebbe of the Baal Tanya, because much of what he wrote came from the Maral of Prague. Umipi Soifrim means what he heard from his Rebbeim. Who's that? Be'ika, the Magid of Mezrich, the Mezrich of Magid, who of course also got things from the Baal Shem Tov. So Al Kaponim, that's where most of what we're saying comes from over here. Now why? Why did he write this Sefer? Now we'll discuss a lot of it in the Hagdama, which we're going to do Be'ez Hashem tomorrow. We'll start the Hagdama, the introduction. But before we get there, he sums up the entire Sefer with a few words. The entire Sefer, right? 53 prokim, 53 chapters, which some say refer to parishes of the week. It's a different smooth, but Al Kaponim, Meyusad, right? They come from the Yesod, the foundation. Al Pasuk, one thing. Ki korov elecha hadava ma'oid beficha ovilvavcha la'asaysay. And we'll finish a song, which is also a pasuk, and that is that it's very close to you to serve Hashem with your mouth, with your heart, and with your deeds. It's very close. Ki koroi belecha. It's very close. Hadova ma'oid. You can accomplish this. Says the Tanya, this entire sefer is built on that pasuk. And he is going to spell out and show us how it's close to us, how we can accomplish Avodas Hashem much closer than what we think it is. And as he continues, Levara Hativ, to explain well, Eichu korov ma'oid, how is it so close? B'derech haruka u'ketzara, how to get there in a long and in a short way, Be'ezras Hashem Yisparach over here. So we have something very, very special. This is pretty much the Shabla. Again, as I said to you, there's no name over here. He doesn't want to attribute it to himself. One of the reasons is obviously his Hanavi's humility. Another reason they say also is because he didn't want people to think that this was a Chabad Torah necessarily. Now it's true, it is definitely the Hakdama to much of the Chabad Torah, but the Balatana didn't want it to be, this is Chabad. It's for everyone. This is for every Yid in Klal Yisrael. Every Yid in Klal Yisrael needs to learn Tanya. And I believe every Yid in Klal Yisrael will change when they learn Tanya. And again, what he's explaining is one thing: how to serve Hashem properly. That's it. And to show us how to do that in the easiest way possible. It's a deep sefer. It's an incredible sefer. I'm excited that you guys have joined me on this incredible journey. And Be'ez Hashem, B'siyat Shemai, tomorrow we're going to start the Hakdama. Thank you for joining us. And Be'ez Hashem tomorrow, Hakdama, Balatanya. Join us then.